We're now on the aft gun station with Chief Savona. Can you explain what goes on here and what's going on behind us?
Maintenance and more maintenance. Constant maintenance year-round. Yeah, these are two World War II veterans getting the ship ready for the upcoming cruises. We do this annually. This is a big part of our maintenance work. This is Fred Buser, Chief Petty Officer, retired United States Navy. We have Bill McQuaid. He's a first-class sonar man. He was in World War II, and he's also an excellent electrician. This is the pointer's position. Sits here, he turns those two wheels, and he elevates and depresses the barrel of the gun. He has sights up there that he looks through when he's firing at the target. This is the trainer's position. He sits there in that seat and turns those two handles. When he turns those handles, this gun will rotate 360 degrees. This position here is the sight setter's position. He would set the sights and the range for the projectile. It took 11 men to operate this gun. This is the gun shield. It's 3/4 of an inch thick. Not much protection, but when you stand behind it, at least it gave you some reassurance that you're protected. This is a 20 millimeter gun, and this gun, we use this gun when we're out at sea coming back from Catalina. We have a simulated air attack at that time. We have 6 AT-6s that fly over from Van Nuys Airport, and they do a simulated World War II attack on the ship. And we fire this gun, which is on the starboard side of the ship. We fire the 20 that's on the port side of the ship, and also the 5-inch 38. These are the only 3 guns that we fire on the ship. I enlisted in the Navy in 1942, and was sent to boot camp, and out of boot camp they told me I was going to go to gunnery school to be a gunner. I didn't volunteer for it, but I was selected. Anyway, I went through gunnery school, and after completion of gunnery school, I was transferred to the Armed Guard Center in Brooklyn, New York. And they said that we would sail on merchant ships, because the Navy at that time put guns on the merchant ships.
Hi, my name is Fred Buser. I am a retired chief signalman, 25 years in the Navy. I served on a heavy cruiser. That was during the Korean War. I served on destroyers. I served on the Franklin D. Roosevelt, an aircraft carrier. And my specialty was signalman. And I retired as a chief signalman. And I enjoy working here on the ship with Charlie, who's another chief. He's my boss.
My name is McQuaid, Bill McQuaid, and I was in the Navy. I was a sonar man. And I spent the entire World War on one ship.
I quit high school in 1943 and joined the Navy to get into the fight. And after boot camp, they sent me to a school to learn all about this 5-inch 38 gun. That lasted about 3 months, and then I went into the armed guard and spent, I was on 3 different ships, both in the Atlantic and in the Pacific. But we never did see any action, and I guess I should thank God for that.
Okay, I'm Claire Peterson. I was on the Cuba Victory in World War II, just like the Lane Victory. So I've been volunteering for about 11 years on the Lane Victory, and I'm on the 3-inch 50 on the bow. And that's the gun I was on in World War II. Okay, this is a 3-inch 50 dual-purpose anti-aircraft or bombardment gun on the bow of the Lane Victory. The guy that sits here, he's the pointer. He raises and lowers the barrel, turning these cranks, and he also fires the gun. This is the trigger, and he will fire the gun. And when the gun is fired, it would go, all things will go back where it's painted black on the barrel. So about 2 feet, this will go back when the gun is fired. The trainer sits on the other side and he turns the barrel of the gun, and so they both have earphones on and they're talking back and forth, and so when they're ready to fire, the pointer here fires the gun. This is the fuse setter, and for anti-aircraft you turn the handle here, and this mark here is what sets the fuse for it to explode. The higher the number, the farther it goes. This is the shell for the 3-inch 50. And you put it in the fuse setter to turn it for anti-aircraft. The guy standing here turning those 2 handles, he's the sight setter, and he gets the ranges from the officer up on the bridge. He turns those 2 handles, and that turns the sight here. Have 2 loaders that were bringing shells up for this gun, and there's also a hot shellman, which he catches the empty shell case when it comes out of the gun, and it's hot. He has asbestos gloves up to his shoulder, and he catches it and throws it over the side. The gun captain will be over here, and when it's ready to load, he pulls this handle down, pulls the block down, and the shell goes in. When the back part of this shell hits those 2 dogs in front of the block snaps up. So you want to, when you load it, you have your hand up on the back of the shell so it can get it up out of the way when the block snaps shut. I'm Claire Peterson, and I went into the Navy at 17 in Duluth, Minnesota. And the armed guard, the Navy gun crew on all merchant ships was a volunteer to begin with. When we got down to Treasure Island, they didn't know what to do with us, so they put us in the armed guard. And I was assigned with the gun crew on the Cuba Victory in August 12th, 1944. And I was on it for a year. We went to Guam the first time, and we brought stuff for the Seabees, and we came back and loaded and went to Calcutta, India. We had airplanes, parts, and all that for the 20th Air Force. And we came back and loaded again and went to Okinawa. On the way to Okinawa from Ulithi, we were in a collision with another Victory ship, and so we had damage to the bow and the starboard side, and we had to go back to Ulithi and wait our turn to tie up alongside the Vulcan repair ship, and they put new steel plates on the bow and on the starboard side. And from there we went to Norfolk, Virginia. We had stuff for the Army. When we were going into town, the cars were blowing their horns, and we were wondering what was going on. And we found out the war was over, and they closed all the taverns and liquor stores. These ships, they carried everything. We carried airplanes, airplane parts. We carried harbor craft, small boats. We carried Coca-Cola syrup in big wooden barrels. These ships carried everything.